Okay, well, thanks everyone, and good afternoon. Thanks for joining us for the second series of our Accelerate Your Business at Lunch sessions. This session is brought to you by the Accelerate Business Recovery Virtual Hub, sponsored by Desjardins Insurance and partially funded by Employment Ontario, the Ontario government, and the Canadian government. Today's session is all about the 10 things your website needs, and presenting today is Tracy Smith. Tracy Smith is the founder of Kitchen Table CEOs. She helps women entrepreneurs and small businesses accelerate their business growth. Her business strategies focus on websites that drive sales, copywriting that persuades, and email marketing that nurtures and converts. Tracy is a longtime Aurora resident. We're talking since before Bayview had subdivisions on it. She's really looking forward to today's presentation where she could share her expertise and help all of you get your websites working for your business, not against it. Tracy will be joining us for the next 3 Tuesdays, covering off today's topic, as well as email marketing and about me pages. So be sure to sign up for those sessions as well. Now over to you, Tracy.
Awesome. Thank you for such a great introduction. I'm just going to do the fancy screen share here and hopefully I find the right one. One sec. All right, can everybody see that?
We can.
Awesome. Okay, let me see. I lost my chat though, so what's happening here? Sorry guys, tech. We did a run through too, so we're I'm just trying to see if there's a way I can see. There we go. I got my chat. In case you want to ask me questions, I got it up. I've got my 2 monitors going. Here we go. We're ready to rock and roll. So I made the rookie mistake of cleaning something off my shirt a minute before I was going live. So hopefully there's not a big red mark on it. So I heard the previous Lunch and Learn sessions with Holly were amazing. So that's a high bar. I hope that you can all walk away today with some awesome tips and tweaks for your website. So hello, thank you so much for joining me. Feel free to drink, snack, munch. Just be sure to put your mic on mute before you hit anything crunchy. And like Sandra said, and like you already know, because you signed up today, we're going to be talking about your websites. So before we get clicking on the slides, I like to do a lot of participation. So I hope that you'll stay with me and jump in the chat and respond if we're chatting away. And my first question for you is, if you do have a website, what type of website do you have? So do you have a WordPress website? Do you have a Shopify website, Squarespace, Showit, Wix? If you can just pop in the chat section and let me know what type of website you have. Rosina has Shopify. Amazing. Christine, WordPress and Square, both interesting. WordPress, Wix. Okay, so we've got a big variety. Weebly by D. Awesome. I'm seeing a lot of WordPress, so that is great. That just helps me a little bit to know where we're all at. And if anybody wants a website and they don't have one yet, you can pop that in the comments too. That's always good. That means you're doing your research and you're here. So let's get started. Today, we're talking about your website. But before we get started, who the heck am I? Sandra said a little bit, but my name's Tracy and I'm the owner of Kitchen Table CEOs. I've been hanging out at Yonge and Wellington since the late 80s, and very Aurora of me, my first job out of university, I actually worked at Magna at the headquarters right at Wellington. I have 2 sons that are proud Aurora Tiger hockey players. I've got my dog Oak right there, you can see, and I've been in the communication field for 20 years. And as I mentioned, I launched Kitchen Table CEOs in 2019, the same week that COVID launched. So that has been interesting. And what I believe in and excel at in my business is help entrepreneurs, small businesses accelerate their business growth. And I concentrate on websites that work and convert, copywriting that persuades, email marketing that nurtures, And my favorite thing about my job is I get to support my clients by just being there for them. Because as you know, as a small business owner and as an entrepreneur, sometimes that's the most important part, just having somebody on your team that you can talk to and be there for. So I love doing that for my clients. So if you need help with any of these things, I hope that in the future you can keep me in mind. So today we're going to cover off 10 must-haves for any and all websites. So it doesn't matter what platform you mentioned earlier or whether you sell products or services, this applies to all websites. We're going to talk about things that will make your website work for you, to generate leads. We all want those. To connect with your ideal client, to get more sales. We all want those too, and leave no visitors stranded. And pretty simple things that you could incorporate this week if you wanted. So bada bing, bada boom. And then at the end, we will have some time for Q&A. So if you have any questions, you can pop them in the comments at all times and we can come back to them, or leave them to the end and then I'm happy to answer them at that time. So I hope that sounds good. And do yourself a favor, this is my plea, turn off your phone, push it to the far side of your desk, pop it in the drawer. If you've drifted off, come back. I want you to get the most out of this 1 hour that you've committed to. So let's try and have no distractions. And before I get to number one, I have one more question for you. If you were to think about your website right now, obviously there might be something that's bugging you, or you think about your website because you signed up for this. What would be your number one frustration about your own personal website as it stands right now, or your current situation? If you could drop that in the comments so I know. I mean, I guess I should have asked that prior to 5 minutes into my presentation, but I'm curious, what do you not like about your website? What do you find super frustrating or annoying, hard to do yourself, confusing? What is your website missing or you don't know how to do? Somebody mentioned coding. I hear you on that. Does anybody else have anything that they're frustrated with their website? And this will just help me be able to tweak my narrative through this. Your about page, Christine. Okay, I hear you. Your brand story. Hard to do myself. Dabbling with WordPress. Hate how slow it's been. Okay, so we've got some tech. Just seeing here, I'm looking for quick ways to update. Hard to navigate the editing. Outdated. I know, I hear you on that. Lots of work to upkeep. It is, it's a lot, right? And SEO, which is search engine optimization. So we're going to try and cover off lots of that. And if you have questions about those at the end, that is wonderful. Let's get started. And if you're a pen and paper person like me, we just need a piece of paper and 1 through 10. But do not worry, because the chamber and myself will be sending out materials afterwards. I believe the whole video and even my PowerPoint presentation. So you don't need to worry about notes. Don't stress. So the number one website must have, or first on our list, is an amazing above the fold. And if you're thinking, what the heck is an above the fold? Do not worry. I took a poll actually on my Instagram last week, and I think about 10% of people knew what above the fold was. So you're all good. Do not worry. You're not alone. So above the fold, it's that area on your website that you see as soon as you land. So if you type in kitchentableceos.com, that's my website, you don't scroll. You don't move, you don't do anything. That is your above the fold, okay? You're no scrolling. It's the prime real estate that people see as soon as they land on your website. So you can imagine if it's as soon as if it is what they are seeing as soon as you land, you want to make your above the fold amazing. And it's nothing to do with folding napkins. I don't know, every time I hear the term above the fold, I don't know why, I just think of folding a napkin. So if your brain thinks like me, it has nothing to do with folding napkins. So I want to look at a few examples so it's really obvious to you what makes a really good above the fold, so yours can be good too. So no pressure, Chamber of Commerce, but this is what you see when you land on the Aurora Chamber of Commerce website. No scrolling, no nothing. That is what showed up on my screen. So that is there above the fold. So let's briefly talk about what makes an amazing above the fold versus a ho-hum one. So I'm just moving things around so I don't spill my tea here. So you want your visitor to know as soon as they land and they're looking at your above the fold, what you do, who you are, and hopefully you have an awesome picture, a mini description, and many people forget about this, a call to action button. So you want to be sending your traffic somewhere without them even scrolling. So where do you really want them to go? Do you want them to find out about your services? Do you want them to buy a product? That's where that button should lead. You're most important. So I'm working with a company right now, and their whole goal is they're funding small businesses and they want people to sign up. So that button for them would be instantly sign up, and it would take them directly where we want most customers to go right away. It's not to say that somebody else couldn't navigate through the site, but our Above the Fold wants that powerful button so that we can help persuade and funnel people to where we want them to go. So back to the chamber. Sorry to put you guys on the spot. So do we know who they are? Yes, we do. Do they have a great picture? I think so. It's fun. Look at our ladies there. Is there a button or a call to action? Oh, no. But I know Sandra's listening to this workshop, so there might be by the end of this week, right? Wink, wink. So let's look at another Aurora business. Is everyone wondering if maybe I picked their site? Don't worry, I picked mine. So I can be under the microscope first. So we've landed here. I know there's a lot of wording and things like that, but I want you to look at mine. Do you know who I am and what I do? So it says Kitchen Table CEOs, right? And I help people accelerate their business growth. So that's pretty good. I've got a good picture. And yes, there's a button to where I want to send people to. And bonus points because there's a contact at the top. So if people just want to cut to the chase and contact me, they can easily see that. Of course, my home phone number is ringing, right? Okay, so let's look at another example. So Gioia Ristorante, I'm going to cover off a few more examples. So Gioia's first, and I thought they did a really, really great job, right? We've got their name and logo in the top. We've got a contact number because I'm sure a lot of people just want to call and make that reservation. We've got a mini description, the Italian restaurant in Aurora. So right away, we know they're a restaurant, we know they're Italian, we know they have a good wine bar, and we know they're in Aurora. So they didn't go on and on for paragraphs, but right away we know who they are. And instead of one button, they have three. Now, I wouldn't recommend this for everybody because it's too much sometimes, but for a restaurant, it makes really sense. It makes a lot of sense because Valentine's Day, we're looking for a reservation or something, right? Oh, I think I want to see the menu, right? Oh, I'm going to book a reservation. And then during COVID, I'm pretty sure they got called a lot for gift cards. So that's why those three buttons were there. So I thought Gioia did a really great job, and they have a really, really nice picture that sort of, if you've ever had their pizza, this picture does a great job. So good job, Gioia. One of my favorite restaurants. So Svelte Studio, we're looking at here, and another great Above the Fold. I don't have to scroll. I don't have to do anything. And I've already seen their name, their logo. I know that they're a Pilates and fitness studio. There's an amazing picture. I wish my abs looked like that. They do not. And right there, they've included the fall class schedule, right? Which maybe that's where they want people to go to because maybe they get calls all the time, and that saves their receptionist quite a bit. So I thought they did a really, really great job too. And they also have the phone number where people don't have to go digging very far to get. So just to summarize, and maybe just drop a thumbs up because I can't see all of you, but that this is all making sense. And the examples that I've given are making sense. Just a thumbs up if you're still with me. So just to summarize what an amazing Above the Fold would look like, you want your visitor to know who you are, what you do, and have some sort of call to action for them to take, okay? And you want a button leading somewhere that helps you drive sales. And so the results of an amazing Above the Fold is longer visits on your website because they're not clicking off right away, and you get to funnel people to a sale or to wherever you want them to go. So it's going to make a much better user experience if they know that they're in the right place right away versus wondering and scrolling and things like that. So that is Above the Fold. So the second on our list is the About Me page. So I think it was Christine that mentioned that she wanted some help on her About Me page. So you will love this. And I think through the mute buttons, I'm hearing a collective groan because I know this page haunts people and it's also really hard to write. I'm a professional writer and talking about yourself is tough. So next Tuesday, as Sandra mentioned, we are tackling how to write your About Me page. So Christine, I hope for sure you can come. And if anybody else is struggling with it or knows somebody, be sure to register for that event because that will be helpful for you. So did you know that the About Me page is the most visited interior page of your website? So second to your homepage. I always find that super interesting when I hear that stat. And so why is it so important? Whatever, it's a bio. People want to know, they're curious. Can they picture themselves working with you, right? What do you stand for? What's your background in work? And are you qualified for the job? So some people use the About Me page as a way of listing off every single certificate, college program, career change they made. That is not what the About Me page is for. It's a way of subtly talking about your journey in a way that benefits your client. So they're like, oh yeah, that would be useful. Oh yeah, that sounds great. Oh wow, she worked or he worked with so-and-so, right? So we're gonna look at a few examples here. And I'm gonna put a few more people on the spot. I don't know if Bonnie's in here, but I know she's a member of the chamber and she builds websites. So of course she is going to know that she needs an about section on her site. So what do we think here? It's beautiful. We can see a picture of Bonnie here. It's beautiful. She's professional looking, natural, approachable, happy. Does she look like she's a difficult person to work with? No, she doesn't, right? Does she look grumpy? Does she look stuffy? No, it's a great picture. And because I know that she does target, I think, female clients, I can picture working with her. So accomplished, right? And I can't totally read the writing here, but when she goes through, it's less about listing off every single qualification, and it's more about talking about her journey. And suddenly, Ibai, can you just mute your mic, Ibai? Perfect, thanks. And talking about her journey and subtly dropping examples of how she is uber qualified to help you. And at the end, she includes a call to action on, hey, do you want to work with me? This is how you reach me. She actually did it really cute. She said, come visit me on Instagram, Hate Social, connect with me on LinkedIn. So if you've read this and you're kind of thinking, she seems kind of cool, I could picture hiring her, right away you know how to contact her. You're not leaving the client to do, or the potential client to do all the work. So that's a great example. Here is Teresa Cook of The Story of Love in St. Andrews Plaza, and she owns a jewelry boutique. And so this is straight off her Shopify site. It's got a cute title. You know you're going to learn about how the business came to be, right? The story behind The Story of Love. There's a beautiful picture. It shows the store. The door is open. Teresa looks friendly, approachable. And so that's also a huge benefit. It's all those subtle cues on your about page. And then at the bottom, it actually invites readers to shop before leaving the page. So it's like, hey, be sure to check out all my beautiful products before you leave my site. So there's another good example of an About Me page. So just to summarize, you need an about page or you're missing out and you're leaving your visitor hanging, okay? They really are, because it's that page that rounds out the professional, I'm giving you all the information you need, and it kind of opens you up, and it gives you an opportunity to really connect. It's almost like your interview with the client. And it gives you an opportunity to talk about yourself in a way that your attributes show your expertise or your benefit to the client. And like I said, it is one of the hardest things to write. So if you do want or think it would be valuable to have a step-by-step template to follow, I do offer that on my website. So I'll just throw that out there, kitchentableceos.com. Then you click on template shop. I have a full step-by-step template with probing questions and examples and samples. So if you think that would help you, by all means, go there. So the result of having an About Me page versus not is you're building trust. You're showing you're qualified, and you will probably get more inquiries because you have that call to action at the bottom saying, hey, if you're interested in working with me, here is how to reach me. Okay. So when we only have an hour or so, I can't teach you exactly how to write it in 5 minutes, but your two options are you can download that template and or sign up for our time together next Tuesday, but do not skip this page. Okay. So we're on to number 3. Oh, I know, guys. Number 3 is pictures of you. More moans. I know, I can hear through the mute buttons. I know I can. But there really are no excuses. And I know we have a combo of guys and girls on the call, but I do see a few more gals than guys. And we are too hard on ourselves. Oh my goodness. I work with female clients to coordinate photo shoots all the time. And you are not alone, however you are thinking, whether it's wrinkles, whether it's weight, whether it's you don't like to be in front of the camera, filters, smoothing, this and that, you're not alone, but we still need to do it. If you run a business, your website, plain and simple, should have pictures of you or your employees, your brick and mortar location, if it's applicable. We need to stop hiding and just show up and be proud of ourselves no matter what, period. It makes your website authentic, and it makes you stand out or different from your competitors, right? Your competitors are not going to have pictures of you on their website. So you really want to personalize your website. And again, it's that feeling of, I could work with this person, or this person reminds me of so-and-so, or, so the pictures are definitely a must. And I will say a professional photographer does not have to break the bank. There's tons of little tips and tricks and ways that you can do that, whether it's sharing a photo shoot with another business or another entrepreneur, whether it's getting somebody who it's a hobby for them, but to have a professional versus the selfie arm ones, I highly recommend. They could do so much more with lighting and things to make you feel comfortable. And I do work with a professional photographer who's in York Region. He has worked with probably 10 local businesses that you know. His name's Jim Craigmile. There's his cell, there's his website. So if photos are on your to-do list, I highly suggest you call Jim. And just so you know, I have given him a heads up that I was going to share his cell phone. So I do have permission, but Jim is wonderful. I've worked with him for close to a decade, and he can do any kind of photography, whether it's interiors, whether it's people, whether it's businesses, products. He's your guy. So no excuses. You've got Jim now, and super reasonable. I often get asked about stock art. And that is art that is, you get for free sometimes off of, professional photographers' sites. And occasionally to use stock art, totally fine. But overboard, no, and it will be obvious that it is stock art. So if you need a picture of, I don't know, some shopping bags, or a picture of, I don't know, a pile of receipts or something, or a calculator if you're an accountant, that's totally fine to use some, but you don't want all of the pictures on your site to be stock. And when you are picking pictures, it's important for you to think about who your ideal client is, and the diverse world that we do live in and want to respect and celebrate. So think about using stock art that also represents your community and a wide variety of ethnic backgrounds that you are serving. Unsplash.com. If you are on social, if you are doing your website, unsplash.com is the stock site that I use and I love. It's absolutely free. It's not asking you to upgrade every 2 seconds. And you can find a lot of amazing photos for everything you're looking for on unsplash.com. So that's just a little recommendation for me. And where should the pictures of you be? Well, really anywhere, but for sure on that above the fold picture is ideal, and your About Me page. Those are two places to really start. But if you're service oriented, or product based, and you're getting in there and making jewelry, having a picture of you doing your craft, that's amazing. I see somebody from the Armory here, having a picture of you greeting some of the people at the front door or serving a plate at one of the tables. As many authentic pictures that we can use and have, the better. So this is going to be a quick one. Number 4 is a privacy policy on your website. I'm not going to dig too deep into this one. It's not my area of expertise, but it is something that you need to consider and include on your site. This excerpt was taken from the Government Ontario website. It just says, do you have a privacy policy? The policy should outline how information is collected and used, security procedures, and you should post the policy on your website. But it's something to look into, because if you did have a website created by a developer, you might already have a privacy policy and not know that you do. And if you don't, it's something to ask about or look into so that you're doing things by the book in the age of sharing information, right? So number 5 is a contact page. Now, I know this seems very self-explanatory and obvious, and some of you might be rolling your eyes, but trust me, it is amazing how many websites do not have a contact page, or they have their contact information, but it's buried at the bottom of another page, or it's buried as a subcategory of one of your, heading main menus. You want your contact information to be so easy to find, because as soon as somebody decides that they want to contact you, you want it to make it as easy as possible so you get that lead, you get that sale, and you get that call. If I'm trying to contact a business and I have to go any further than a click here or a click there, I'm frustrated. So if you don't have a contact page, how are people supposed to reach you? Or if it's buried, how do they know where they're supposed to find it? A heading menu, people automatically look for that home, they look for the about, they look for the products or services or buy, and they look for that contact. So if you don't have contact as one of your main pieces up there, I recommend adding it. Treasure hunts are fun, but not in this case, I say. So it should be in your header menu, which is the menu that goes at the top, and your footer menu, which goes at the bottom. All right, so here's a picture of my contact page, and I could improve it. So I have a form, which is not uncommon. So if people want to submit a form, I get an email and I can contact them back. I also have a direct email. It says use the form to the right or email me at hello@kitchentableceos.com. So they have two options. I personally prefer sending my own email instead of the forms. So that's why I put that there. Now, what's missing? I could provide a phone number, and that is totally up to you and the type of business you run. If you are let's say a bakery or a restaurant or let's say a paint store, well, it wouldn't make sense to have an email only contact because people want their paint now. They want a dozen muffins tomorrow. You need to have a way for them to reach you right away. I personally, as a single solo entrepreneur, it would be my cell phone, and I'm not just quite there yet. I've thought about it. I still might do it, but that's your own personal choice. The other thing that I'm missing here that I do have on my Instagram is click this link to book a call with me, and it links directly to my calendar. So if you're an appointment-based person or consultation-based, that's another thing to put on your contact form to say, hey, book a meeting with me, and then it's taking that step out. It's taking all those emails in between out for you. So that's another helpful tip that you can put in there, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. So I want you to think about how you personally like to contact businesses. Do you like to call them? Do you email them? Do you like to go in person? So what options would be best for your customers and the type of service or product that you offer? And it won't be the same for everybody on this Zoom. So you really have to think about your clients and how they reach out. You could maybe even poll them on social media or in an email and ask them how they like reaching out to you the best. And the results, if you do have that in your face contact page that works and allows them to reach out to you, you're going to get more inquiries and you're going to get more leads, right? And ultimately, that's what we want. We don't want people getting frustrated, not being able to contact you because you'll never get their business and you won't know that they even were there, right? The other thing I didn't mention was a map. A lot of times on a lot of my clients will put down a map because they're actual brick and mortar, a jewelry store, a clothing store, a paint store, as we mentioned. So you might want to think about having an actual map on your contact page. I personally don't want people showing up at my home address, so I don't have a map on mine. So that brings us to number 6, and these are in no particular order. So number 10 is not like the last, they're just randomly numbered. So number 6 is formatting. And formatting, oh, what a sexy word. It can mean a lot of different things. So for our purposes today, I want you to think of formatting as all the tools that you can use to take one really big paragraph on a page and make it more readable and more pretty or appealing. So when you read a magazine, it's not just one size of text running on and on. It has formatting, the tricks and the tools used to make it more readable, enjoyable to look at. And just so you know, most of these things Google loves too. So somebody mentioned SEO. All of these things, incorporating them on your website, in your blogs, makes them more readable, which makes Google like them more. So what is formatting? We're going to go through. It means you have short and concise sentences. We're not using screaming all caps as our mode of formatting. We are not having everything centered, okay? We're going to left justify. That means when the text starts on the left-hand side, as most books do. Heading should be centered, but if you're going on longer than a heading, it should get over there and get left justified. We want to use bullet lists, extra lines, making sure there's spaces between paragraphs. We want to use subheadings. We want to use images to break up the space in the longer text. So if you find you have a really long paragraph in your content, anywhere, in your social, your website, we want to use the bullet list. We want to make some space, maybe put a picture in there, and all of those things help to make it more readable and more scannable. We want subtitles so that people can quickly glance down and see what it is you're talking about. And if you're relatively new to formatting, I only want you to use 2 fonts. A true sign of somebody that is sort of a newbie is when you try and put about 5, 6 fonts on a page and they're not looking good. It just looks like you went crazy with the fonts. So use one big bold font for your headings and your subheadings, and then use a really clean, easy to read one for your paragraphs. But that's it at this stage. Unless you're an expert and know how to weave in the other ones, avoid. And I already said no all caps or use very sparingly. So now we're going to look at an example so you know what I am talking about. So this is an example of no formatting. And I see this all too often. People are writing in all caps. It's centered. There's no paragraphs. There's nothing. If I'm reading that, I have no idea what it's about. And you know what? It's like, this is overwhelming. I'm bored. Next page, or leaving your website, right? So this is not what we want. Okay, so let's look at this page. This is the exact same page with the exact same information. Let's go back. That page is the same as this. Okay, I just formatted it. So tell me, when you're looking at this, I really want you to join in the chat here. What tricks did I use to make this more appealing and readable? So look at the page. What tricks did I use? I'm going to wait. I want you guys to answer in the chat. I don't know whether I'm missing the chat. I feel like some are coming through. Space and bolding, Rosie says. Absolutely. So I made the heading huge, right? And then how do I help my client? So already you know, just by a quick scan, We're talking about Tracy Smith and how does she help clients. So if I just want to know what she does, I go straight down to the how do I help my clients, right? Really clean font, Marie Sophie. Absolutely. So it's really easy to read. And I'm not using all caps, right? 2 fonts D, you're right. Bullets and white space. So look at how much space, right, I have created. And what about this gal? That's not me, by the way, but I've added a picture, right? So now you're like, oh my gosh, that's Tracy Smith. I'm talking, that's her, right? So you can see how powerful formatting is. And like I said, it might not be sexy when you first say it out loud, but when you see the comparison, it's something I get a little bit passionate about because it makes such a huge difference. And it truly is, if you're DIYing your website, when I land on a website and I don't see any of this used and I see a whole lot of that, I know it's a DIY. There's nothing wrong with DIY, but we want to use formatting to make it look as professional as possible, because we can do DIY professional, but we want to make sure we use those formatting trips. So I think I know the answer I was going to ask. Which one do you prefer to read? Which one, if you landed on 1 or 2, would you be more inclined to stay on the page, to read longer? Marie Sophie says 2, absolutely. Sandra says 2. Okay, we are on the same page. Number 2 grabbed our attention. And why was that? The first one was just one big run-on sentence, right? And all the words were the same size, all the same weight, all the same boldness. Raymond, you passed. Number 2, good job. I use bullet list, as you mentioned, extra lines, right? Extra lines in between for more white space. I had titles, subtitles, and no all caps. You guys guessed all those, so good job. So the result is, like I said, it looks more professional. People are going to stay on your pages longer because they actually want to read it and they can scan it and jump to the section they want. It increases your readability and it improves your SEO because Google actually knows what is headings and subtitles. So they actually read those to find out what your articles and things are about. Okay, so you can use these on all your website pages to make them easier. You can use them on your social too, and that is formatting. Woo, got excited there. So number 7 website must have is strategic call to actions. Another exciting one. I mean that seriously. So call to actions, or CTAs, as you sometimes might hear people use, they're essential to show your visitors on your website where you want them to go. So you often hear these words funneling. Well, it means that you're sending people in a direction, you're pointing them, you're guiding them to where you want them to go. So call to actions allow you to funnel them, right? And it's like giving a map or a set of directions. Have you ever been on a website and you wanted to go somewhere, but you didn't know how? It's like, where is that? Like, where is the contact page? Or I'm looking for that. Where would I find that? That site would be lacking call to actions. So here are some examples, and you'll all know these because you will have read these on other sites. So click here. That's a call to action. You're telling them, click here. For more information, call us. You're saying, I would prefer it if you called me. Here's the phone number. Click the button below, register by, click this link. If you want to this, then please email so-and-so, right? So again, you're guiding them. Hey, if you have an accounting question, please go over to that person. Don't call the normal number, right? You're funneling them to that person. Use the form below to get a hold of us. So all these are examples of call to actions. So where should call to actions go? They should be on every page. They should be on buttons. Every time someone might think or read your website, yeah, that sounds good. How do I do that? That is where a call to action should be, because you don't want to leave them hanging. The bottom of every single blog or article should be for more information, or you might also like this article, or if you want me to help you with this, click here. At the bottom of every blog or article should have one as well. And when you're looking at your homepage, Often our homepage is set up in those banners, with different sections talking about different things. Each one of those sections should have its own call to action. All right. So if all of a sudden you're talking about your services, that banner should say, hey, to learn more about our services, click here and go to the services page. If you're talking about, your products, click here to view more products like this. And then it's going to take you to the product page. So a lot of call to actions are a good thing. It's sending people where you want them to go on your website. So call to action is often the missing link between someone being your website visitor and your customer, right? Because if they're there, they're already interested. But if you don't get them to where you want to go or where you can talk to them or where they're ordering, then now they're just a statistic. So it gives your visitors a map and tells them where to go. Oh, I'm missing my picture on this page. Sorry, guys. And we want them to be multiple and plenty. So the result is more sales, more leads, and a way better user experience, right? You want people to enjoy being on your website. So before I get to number 8, I have one more question. If you can pop your answer into the chat. Do you sell stuff on your website? Yes or no? Like, is your website e-commerce with a checkout? Do you have that ability on your website? Rosina, I hope I'm pronouncing that right because I'm not sure where your last name starts. Okay, so she says yes, Marie, no, a whole bunch of no's. We got a yes from Dee, yes on Sandra. Okay, and that could be product or service, right? So if you can pop in one more thing, are you product-based or service-based or both? If you're selling stuff, that would be curious. Or even if you're not, if you don't have a website, that's fine. But are you product-based or service-based? Christian's products, great. Raymond, are you service or product? Oh, Barb, okay, sorry. Service, charitable, service, got it. Okay, that's great information. We got a combo of products and services and a combo of e-commerce and not. And so what I'm about to share with you does not matter if you're product or service or e-commerce. I was curious, but what I'm about to share will apply to everybody regardless. So number 8 website must-have is product and service descriptions written for your ideal client. So what do I mean by that? So potential clients, when they read that service page or they read a product description, they need to understand how what you're offering fits into their life. So how does it help them? How does it change them? What problem will it solve? Do you truly understand your ideal client and what they need, right? So Rosie, I'll use you as an example. I don't know exactly what you offer, but let's say it is birthday cakes. On your description about birthday cakes, you might talk about, the basics of what's in your cake, but we might also want to touch on the fact, like, let me take care of the birthday stress. Mine are, nut-free or something, because then you don't have to worry about that. Or available in 15 different colors, so your little one will be happy. So instead of just stating what your product is, we want to find out what's really important to our ideal client and then add that into the description so it feels like we're talking directly to them. So a couple examples to illustrate. So let's say you want a massage. Which massage, and I want you to tell me in the comments, A or B, would you choose? A, 1 hour massage, okay? B, let the tensions of the day melt away during your custom 1 hour massage, meant to relieve stress, reduce neck and eye strain, and eliminate screen-induced headaches. Leave feeling like $1,000,000, same price. Okay, everybody's going for B. I'm glad, okay. So I would choose B because I can relate to it. It showed me what I was going to get, and it spoke to me because so many of us have that eye pain and headaches and the neck pain from our screens. We're all staring at our screens right now, right? It also made me feel like they were going to customize the massage to me instead of it being just generic. So it promised results and it painted a picture. Okay, so here's another example. Tell me whether you'd choose A or B. You need a copywriter. Website, $799 to write your website. Number one, A, or reduce your to-do list and get your website done and professionally written. In 2 weeks' time, you will have a website ready to publish, optimized for SEO, that connects with your ideal client and funnels your visits where you want them to go, to the checkout. Same price. D, are you hiring A or B? Character community, Sandra, what are we picking here? A or B? Which copywriter would you guys choose? Okay, definitely B. Well, you're wrong. Guess what? That was a trick question. The answer is actually you should hire me as your copywriter. So I tricked you. You got it all wrong. But I would have probably written B. So there you go. So B is right, of course, because, sorry, I missed my notes here. There's a really big difference in how your potential customer relates to what you're offering, right? So in there, I had said 2 weeks time. So all of a sudden somebody's going, oh my gosh, I could have this done in 2 weeks, optimized for SEO. So Christine's going, oh my gosh, SEO covered off, right? Connecting with my ideal client. Oh my gosh, yes, I want to send people to the checkout. So this description was a lot more detailed. So your customers will feel like you're reading their minds, right? Solving their problems, painting a picture, much more successful than just plain descriptions. And the result is more sales and more client loyalty. They feel like this product or service or company really gets me. I'm actually super excited. I'll share with you, I'm in the midst of creating a mini video course that teaches methods for crafting persuasive product and service descriptions. So if you want to be kept in the loop, drop a thumbs up in the comment section and I'll be sure to keep you posted. It should be coming out in end of March or April, but it's something fun and easy that I am creating to help businesses just like you to learn the strategies and the tricks to talking about your offerings so that people want them. Christine, I will definitely keep you in the loop. Thank you. This is a repeat slide. So number 9, Google Analytics. So before we get into why Google Analytics is important, I don't want to assume that everybody knows what it is. So Google Analytics is a way of tagging your site. It's a little bit of code that is added to each page of your website so that traffic to your site can be tracked. It gives you all sorts of super cool data. So why is it important, or what would Google Analytics tell you if you had it installed? What pages on your site are most important? So for me on my blogs, I can tell where people are going and what topics they really like. How are people finding you? Is your social media or Facebook ads really working? Google Analytics will tell you. How long are people staying on your site? Are they using computer, mobile? What gender are they? Where are they located? Do you have like a fan base in Australia? And how many people are visiting? And are they repeat or are they new customers? All sorts of cool data that Google Analytics can show you. So how do you install Google Analytics? If you had somebody that developed your website, ask them. They should be able to do that. It might already be installed, but make sure you're getting those reports or know how to log in. You can ask an IT guru if you have one in your organization, and when all else fails, Google it. It is relatively simple, especially if you DIY'd your website. They'll have you tips and steps depending on its WordPress or whatever Wix or Squarespace. They'll have directions for you. So the result is you can be way more strategic, you can make informed decisions, and you have real data about what your website is doing and how it's working for you. So number 10, website must have email marketing opt-in. So why is email marketing important? And when I say email marketing, all I mean is that you have a way of collecting your customers and potential customers' emails so that you can reach out to them directly. So this is your direct access to your ideal client. And it's so important because it reduces your dependency on that darn old social media that we were stressing about and talking about at the beginning. You own this list, not Mark Zuckerberg, not Twitter, or anybody else. And my question to you is, if you've been putting off email marketing, or maybe you think it's not for you, how else do you communicate with your clients and let them know about important news? And if your answer is social, 3%, 10% of your followers see your message. When you have email marketing, every single one of them will be getting your email and seeing what you're talking about. So think about that if you've been putting email marketing off. So there's 2 easy ways to get emails via your website. One is an inline form, and we're looking at Aurora Women's Boutique Lemonberry here. Sorry, it's a little bit small here, but the inline form, you've all seen this before. It's just a little block on your website already embedded that you ask for their email address or for them to join your email list. This is called an inline form. And if you have this, I strongly suggest you give them something for it, or you tell them why they should sign up. We all get so many emails that you really want to sweeten the deal and make it worth their while to join your list. So Lemonberry, you can't see it, but it says, get a 10% discount when you sign up for the newsletter. I often use a freebie. You could do a buy one, get one coupon, or a checklist, or even just tell them great stuff that they'll get, like tips or tricks or recipes. Everyone gets so many emails, so you really need to sort of sweeten the deal for them, okay? Why should they bother? The second way to get their email list on your website, and I'm sure you're all familiar with it, is called the pop-up, because sometimes people don't set them up properly and they keep popping up every time you do something on the website, or it's really tough to exit them. But a typical properly set up pop-up opt-in is a window message that appears after people land on your site, say after 10 seconds, and asks them to join the mailing list. 2 options, the inline form we just talked about, or the pop-up. They're both valuable. Choose the one that works best for you. And there's a ton of other ways that are free to collect email addresses too, and we'll talk about those in our Lunch and Learn session in 2 weeks when we talk about email marketing. So, summary of email marketing is it gives you a way to communicate with your client directly. Newsletters, promotions, events, news, discounts, campaigns. You can all do that on email marketing much more effectively and direct than social media. And it works in the background. I don't want to get into too much detail because that's what we'll talk about in 2 weeks, but you can set up the emails so they're automatically happening and you're not typing them out each time. It just runs in the background. So the result of email marketing, increase in sales, higher conversions, and way more brand awareness and loyalty because you're sending them messages. You don't have to be annoying. There is a trick, there is a way, there is a method. We're not sending daily messages, but you provide value and you keep in touch with your customers. So if email marketing, because I know it's a biggie, is an area that you struggle with or you know you need to get started on, call me after this and we can have a chat. I could get you set up in a day and have it running, no problem. So, my friends, we've gone over the 10 things your website needs. In no order, let's recap. An awesome above the fold, an about page, call to actions, a contact page, Google Analytics, pictures of you, product descriptions, formatting, email marketing, and a privacy policy. Now, as we move through the list of 10 things, come back to me if you've drifted. What have you put on your list? Is there anything on your list where you thought, oh yeah, I've got to do that or get to that? Let me know in the comments what is on your list. I'm going to wait till you guys tell me a couple things, unless your website's perfect, and then you can write perfect in the chat section and let me know. Sophie wants to revise all of them. An awesome above the fold. I love it. What else has everybody added to their list? Main page call to action. Christine, great job. So I don't want you guys to stress. Sometimes when we have a presentation like this, we leave feeling a little bit overwhelmed. So after this presentation, you likely, like you just said, have a few things that you want to tweak on your website. Better descriptions, I'm seeing a lot of privacy policy, Raymond, great job. But I don't want you to stress. Websites can be overwhelming and they don't And don't make the mistake of ever thinking that you'll be complete. I know that sounds horrible, but if we change our mindset to think that it really is a continuum, that we constantly will be working to tweak and change, and as our business evolves, our websites evolve, that's normal. It's normal to have things on our website. It will continue to grow. You'll get new products. Your services will change. I launched my brand new website in August, and a week later I was like, oh, I could really tweak that. So it's okay. It's totally okay. So what I hear from my clients a lot is it really helps to have a partner, someone you can go to for help, so you're not doing it all on your own, someone who can make sure you know the best practices, just like we talked about today. So I'm not going to leave you hanging. If you're interested, I do offer personalized website audits where I give a detailed report on your website where we talk about some of the things we talked about today: navigation, branding, copywriting, imagery, user experience. And on the next slide, I'll give you my email. If anybody is interested in the personalized website audit, by all means, please send me an email. And if you want one now, after today, just type in the chat section, audit ASAP, and I will follow up with you directly after this presentation. So either way, I just want you to know that you're not alone. So thank you so much for allowing me to be your presenter today. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, somebody also said, I need to get the mobile page working as well as the desktop. You know what? It's funny that you say that, because as I was finishing up my presentation, I actually wanted to say, or make an 11, that, a must-have for your website would be making sure that your mobile view of your website is just as good and accurate as your computer version, because everybody's on their mobile these days. So you really want to make sure that it's mobile friendly. So Dee, you're welcome. I'm going to stop share maybe here, or is Sandra going to pop in? Does anyone have any questions? You can pop them in the chat or unmute yourself. We're all a happy bunch.
Yeah, you can go ahead and unmute and ask any questions. We've got a few minutes left.
There we can see. No questions, Caroline, Marie, Sophie. I'm good. I'm right on the wire. It's 12:57. I rehearsed last night. I must have been super fast because I was like 30 minutes and I'm thinking, oh gosh, I gotta talk slow tomorrow, but it turned out okay.
I think that was just terrific. Thank you so much, Tracy. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Like I said, I know it's a lot, but I hope just having the little tidbits, and if you have any questions afterwards, by all means, just email me or reach out, and I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has.
That's great. I will be sharing this presentation as well as the link to the YouTube, so you can rewatch at your leisure. As Tracy mentioned, she will be joining us for the next couple of Tuesdays, and next week is all about your About page. So be sure to sign up for that if you haven't already. And if nobody has any other questions, we will sign off, and I'll wish everybody a wonderful day. So thank you again, Tracy.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great one.
You too.
Tracy. Bye, everybody.
Bye.